into introducing Toh, who is one of the most delightful doctors I have ever met. I really do mean that. He's an full-time GP, integrative physician and council member of the College of Medicine and Integrated Health, and co-author of the chapter on integrated health in the college's new manifesto, A New Hope. His interest is in integrative health, which involves self-care, complementary and conventional health wisdom, backed by the latest science to make our lives better. He is the co-organiser of the Integrative Health Convention and is absolutely passionate, and he really is. Ever since I've met him, I've never met someone so committed to integrative health, really. And sharing the growing field of integrative health with you, Toh, I'm going to turn over to you now.
Hello. Hi. So, no one wants to feel happy, or do they? So the fact is, we are all in pursuit of things that make us happy. But as we learned from Disney's animated movie Inside Out, there can be no happiness without sadness, or at least something to contrast happy times with. So the truth is, we all want to feel better. We all want to feel happy. Better than what you ask, better than what we do when we are sad, when we are down, when we are low, or sometimes just better than okay. So what if you could get some practical tips today on how you can do this? Would that be valuable to you? So I'm a GP, full-time GP. I work most days of the week, and I consult over 100 people a week. Many people have simple aches and pains, skin complaints, mild infections. Sometimes they have some more serious problems that I can help with. Recently, I've been obsessed with the coronavirus pandemic, and life's been really, really busy. And people who tend to follow the Integrative Health Convention, we've sort of been quiet because everything got cancelled because of COVID, like everything else in the world got cancelled. And then I got myself into organizing a vaccination program for our primary care network, which is over 50,000 people. And I know more about viruses now. I'm sure the rest of you know more about viruses now than you've ever known in your life and never ever thought you wanted to know in your life. So I'm glad that that's almost now behind us and we can move forwards. Life's going to be different. Hopefully going to be, and we'll make it better. So a lot of what I see, you see, includes problems with mood, with how people feel. Some are more anxious, some are more depressed, some are just stressed, and many are usually anxious and depressed and stressed. So I spent years outside medicine to explore this area, which I must say is taught poorly. And I know you've got another doctor coming on board later, and she'll tell you the same. Taught very poorly in medical school and medical training. So much so that my colleague, Dr. Naveed Akhtar, and I organized the Integrative Health Convention, which introduces doctors and complementary therapists and the public to different types of complementary therapies and things which you can do in your lifestyle using clever scientific and not so scientific techniques to make you better. So for myself, I practice hypnosis, acupuncture, NLP as part of integrative health, and I'm aware of all the other treatments. One would probably argue that Naveed and I know more than any other doctor about all the integrative therapies, having had conferences with over 30 different speakers from different therapies. And we've often gone on to study all these different things and figure out how to apply it very briefly in our GP clinics. And at least we know what people are getting when they are going for it. So before I go on, it's not good enough to tell people, just to say a term like integrative health and not explain what it is. So integrative health focuses on personalized healthcare, incorporating conventional medicine. So, Western medicine that your doctor, you'll get when you see your doctor, complementary therapies, like I said, massage, acupuncture, Reiki, and things, energy medicine, and alternative medicines like alternative therapies like traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, and also, includes self-care. So I understand you've got a lifestyle doctor that will talk about it later. And these are things like exercise, nutrition, and other lifestyle measures. So it means thinking outside the box to tailor treatments to the individual in front of you so that you get the best care and the patient gets the best care that they need to make them better. So I've got a little slide on the College of Medicine who I work with. I'm a council member on, and they sort of pioneered all this stuff on integrative health. So let me see if I can share the screen with you. There. So that's me, and that's the College of Medicine, and it says that we are changing what medicine means by working together, connecting new and old thinking, and putting people at the heart of healthcare, driven by a self-centered, non-system-centered medicine. So it says, talk about lifestyle, self-help, self-care, quality of health, resilience, and we've written a manifesto out there. And actually, the College of Medicine, if you've never heard of them, they're the people who sort of pioneered social prescribing and got it, and because of that, now it's part of health policy, and we're incorporating what happens in society into overall medicine. So so the question now is, are you ready to begin? Are you motivated enough to start? So I'm going to go back to doing to telling you about these 3 things to make you better and happier. So what's more, these 3 things I'll soon talk about, you've probably already heard of, and you're probably already doing. So I'll go over them and help you do them better, and help you optimize getting into the swing of doing them again. Because really, if you're not doing anything, then you're not going to get anywhere. So sometimes the toughest thing to do is to begin. So let us begin now. So you see, a few years ago, someone asked me about how to feel better and be happier. And I told them 3 things. 3 things because it's easy to remember 3 things or fewer. So I told them these 3 things, and they asked how long it would take for them to start to feel better. So I told them, a few days, but usually 2 to 4 weeks, considering that they'd be sad and stressed for months, if not years. They thought, a few weeks is pretty good. Then I saw them again in about 3 or 4 months, and I asked them how they were doing, to which they replied they would like to learn how to feel better and happier. I asked if they'd done the 3 things I'd asked, and they said, not yet. They just wanted to be sure, and if I could go over those 3 things again. So 3 months after they could have been better, they were still in the same place. So the question to you is, are you going to be in the same place 3 months from now? Or are you fed up enough to bother to change and do these 3 things? So these 3 things. So the first you've all heard of is expressive writing or journaling, writing things down. It's very trendy at the moment. However, the research isn't quite what is trendy at the moment. It's not about writing everything that gets you fired up or down every day. You see, I'll go over what exactly you need to write to feel better. Now that we've got your curiosity piqued, you see there's a professor called Professor Pennebaker at the University of Texas, who's been a leader in the field of expressive writing for over 40 years. And his name is all over, and you'll hear him in books that you read about. And he discovered that expressive writing the correct way can reduce stress and emotions and relieve emotional trauma. And it is also has, because of this, it has physical benefits that are unspoken, such as an overall reduction in consultations to the doctor, overall just feeling better. and who knows, it could have effects on other, if you're not consulting the doctor because you feel better, are you actually being better? And we know how you think and how you feel affects how your body presents. Could this mean that traumatic events early in life cause long-lasting ill health, both physically and mentally? Well, what the research says about adverse childhood events, which you can look up if you're interested, is that they do. So the more adverse childhood events you have, the more likely you are to have a difficult time in the future. We're talking about drug use, suicide, academic achievement, and problems with physical health, actually, not just suicide. And then because of that, problems with your children and children after that as well. So his research shows that if you deal with these traumatic events that have been imprinted in your mind, it makes you feel healthier, makes you feel happier, makes you feel freer, and that reflects in your blood, your health, your happiness. Those of you involved in the fields of therapy will understand this. Those who do body work know that the body remembers traumatic experiences. You know that great book, The Body Keeps Score by Bessel van der Kolk. If you haven't read it, it's wonderful. Professor Pennebaker's research into this area was, now I'm going to tell you what he asked people to do. And it's really simple. I'll give you the precise instructions he used. And it's important to heed this because an experiment is only valid if it's performed in the way it's always performed for everyone there. So the instructions to all of you now is to find a time and place where you won't be disturbed. Ideally, pick a time at the end of your workday or before you go to bed. Promise yourself that you will write for a minimum of 15 minutes a day for at least 3 to 4 consecutive days. Once you begin writing, write continuously. Don't worry about spelling or grammar. If you run out of things to write about, just repeat what you've already written. You can write longhand, you can type on a computer, you can write about the same thing on all 3 or 4 days of writing, or you can write about something different each day. It's entirely up to you. Over the next 4 days, I want you to write about your deepest emotions and thoughts about the most upsetting experience in your life. So really let go and explore your feelings and thoughts about it. In your writing, you might tie this experience to your childhood, your relationship with your parents, people you have loved or love now, or even your career. How is this experience related to who you would like to become, who you have been in the past, or who you are now? Many people have had a single traumatic experience, but all of us have had major conflicts or stresses. Some people have not had a single traumatic experience, but all of us have had major conflicts or stresses in our lives, and you can write about them as well. So you can write about the same issue every day or a series of different issues, whatever you choose to write about. However, it is critical that you really let go and explore your very deepest emotions and thoughts. And as a warning, many people report that after writing, they sometimes feel somewhat sad or depressed. Like seeing a sad movie, this typically goes away in a couple of hours. If you find you are getting extremely upset about writing a topic, simply stop or change topics. So that is the instructions, quite long instructions, but you get it. Sit down, keep quiet, write without stopping for 15 minutes about something that's really been traumatic in your life or worried you. And if you can't write, just keep writing about the same thing over and over again. So, and further instructions are, what do you want to write about? Something you're thinking about or worrying about too much, something that you're dreaming about, something that you feel has affected your life in an unhealthy way, something that you've been avoiding for days or weeks or months, years, and what to do with your writing after that. You see, the writing is for you and you only. Some people, their purpose is for you to be completely honest with yourself. When writing, you can plan to throw it away. At the end, tear it up. You can keep it, save it, dump it, whatever you want. It's really up to you. What he suggests not to do, is to write about emotional things, negatively emotional things every day. The problem is that your brain, when it goes to sleep, sorts out your memories and does a lot of housekeeping. If you make a big deal of something recent and write it down and read it through again and again, it helps your brain remember. The brain is really good at pruning and removing memories that upset it and it doesn't need, so that it can go forwards. So the recommendation is to write about traumatic things in the past. Don't simmer on things, and to let things go. And if you can't let things go, you can write about it. Don't revise things over and over again in your head that upset you. Instead, if you want to write every day, pick out the good things in the day. Revise the good, cheerful, positive things that have happened in your life. Choose the memories you want to keep. And maybe you could solidify them by writing and memorizing them, or putting them into your subconscious, your unconscious. So are you ready to write? So make a plan when you're going to do this. Do it in a week. Do it tonight. Rewrite your history. So in doing so, rewrite your present, rewrite your future. Will it work right away? The answer is sometimes, but more often you won't see the difference right away. But you'll begin to notice it more and more as time goes by. And I can tell you, this is one of the most profound experiences I've ever had in changing the way I think and feel. And the best thing is, all you need to do is have a pen and paper or a keyboard and computer. It won't cost you anything. It's free. Why not start now? So the second thing I'd like to talk to you about is about to feel better, to help you feel better, is to change the self-talk in your head. You see, I've studied NLP, or neuro-linguistic programming, which is the knowledge that words can change your thoughts and your mind, your neurology and your physiology. And I've trained people in NLP. In fact, we've got a course running with some anesthetists in the hospital to teach NLP and hypnosis, so that we can make their lives better and hopefully result in more operations being performed and people feeling better and healing better. So, and the reason I had, like so many others, to learn NLP initially, is so that you can change or influence other people. This is not the application of NLP I want you to take. It's the real. This is not what you do. You don't go into someone's mind and try to change things without permission. In fact, a consultant asked me just last week about coming to our course and how she wanted to learn how to make people change. She wanted to make people lose weight. She was puzzled when I told her that's probably not the right approach. We could help these people find reasons to make the change, but not covertly force them to make the change. Although there are techniques to covertly influence people to think about why they should make the change, that's a different approach. But all of us want to be healthier. So it's about convincing ourselves how to be healthier. Let me tell you, in any case, that the secret of NLP, or neuro-linguistic programming, or using words to change your thoughts, is the power it teaches you to change yourself, to change the words in your head. Because let's face it, we hear our voice more than we hear anyone else's voice in our heads. If you hear other people's voices louder in your head, then you can make them softer, turn them down, and make your voice louder. It's your head after all. And if you still think the voices are not yours and you have no control over them, that's probably called psychosis, and you should probably consult a doctor about this. In fact, as a caveat to everything I'm saying here, there are only clever things that you can do yourself. But if you don't feel that you can do it, it's always good to speak to a mental health professional about all this, someone who's used to dealing with mental health. But we're talking about really mental health first aid that you can do on your own. What I'd like to teach you, and there's loads I could teach you, but what I'd like to teach you is one simple word that you can use, one easy word that you can use all the time. And that word is but. No, just one T, but. Yeah. So, for example, you could say to yourself, if you hear yourself in your head saying, they say they like me, but It's not what they're really thinking. I'd like to be more confident, but I'm not a confident person. You know that but in your head that tends to put you down. But we're not going to do that. Yeah, we're going to change that. You know, all of us are familiar with feedback or people telling us things that we could do better. For example, they'll say things like, I really like how you said that, but you could have done this better, etc., etc. I really like how you smiled and shook hands, but I didn't like, etc., etc. So you get the idea. You know, we've all heard that. In fact, I think some people say everything before the but is bullshit. Oh, I don't know if I'm supposed to swear here. So anyway, so you could use the word but better, couldn't you? You know, well, how you could do is you could in NLP, but is what we call a turning word. So you can, everything before the but disappears and you only focus on what's after the but. So how could you use it better? You could use the word, you could catch yourself being negative because, you know, that's what you can see yourself doing. And you could say something like, oh, I'm not happy or not a happy person, but I will be. I'm not happy, but happiness will come. I'm sad, but the sadness will pass. For what do we know about happiness? We know this, don't you? You know this, that happiness comes from within you, from within all of us. And the only person who can make us happy is ourselves, although it might seem at times that other people could make you happy. Well, to be fair, actually, the research does say if you have lots of friends and family connected to everyone around you and your community, that really helps make people happy. Make people happy, but you have to be able to tell yourself that you will be happy. And you'll find that if you're feeling down or low and you have negative thoughts, that often your self-talk becomes louder and louder. So the thing about realizing as we talk about happiness, it's about realizing that happiness is all around us, to be able to realize that happiness is within us and all around us. And to have the ability to be happy, we have to first learn to concentrate on, to concentrate and feel the emotion, which comes to my third point. The third thing you can learn to do better. And the third thing you can do better is to be mindful, to learn mindfulness, to learn meditation. So we occasionally notice birds singing, the colors of the flowers. You know, at the minute in Devon, which is where I live and work, the grass is extremely green because of all the rain, and it looks beautiful. And we notice, you know, the warmth of the air on our skin, the cool breeze. But what if we could do this more often? You see, if you really concentrate on something, everything else goes quiet. The way we do this more often is to train your mind, just as we exercise our body to stay strong and to stop our joints hurting or our muscles wasting away, and to feel stronger and better. To help our mind stay stronger and healthier, we need to train our mind. Just like we need to exercise our bodies, we need to exercise our mind. And the way we do that, we need to do some form of concentrative meditation. So there are different types of meditation, and depending on which books you read, but in general, there is a lot of meditation is concentrative. So if we learn to concentrate on one thing at a time. So when people talk about emptying your mind, you can't really empty your mind, because what do you think about when you think about nothing? You think about nothing. So you can't concentrate on nothing. So you can't really empty your mind. But what you can do is to concentrate on one thing. And as you do it over and over again, you will find that you lose time. That time disappears. And that's when you empty your mind. So I have a YouTube video called Mindfulness Animated in 4 Minutes. It's got over 500,000 views, and it's been used by health and educational institutions all over the world. One of my things what I'm most proud of is it's been used in the New Zealand penitentiary system to rehabilitate offenders, which is quite interesting. And it has an easy message on how to meditate and the benefits you get from mindfulness meditation. So simple steps to this are, number one, there are three simple steps. There's always three simple steps. Number one, sit up. Number two, close your eyes. Both very easy steps that we can do. You sit up so you don't fall asleep, close your eyes, because it takes off all the other things you're looking at, and you could distract you. And number three, concentrate on your breath, a sound or a word. And when your mind wanders, because it will wander, that's the endless chatter that we have in our heads, that we're all familiar with. All you have to do is notice that it's wandering and bring your thoughts right back to your breath or sound or word. So my personal preference is to use the breath, as if you really breathe slowly, you'll find that you can't concentrate on anything else. And if you learn to breathe very slowly, then you physically can't get anxious and breathe quicker and have a panic attack because you're so used to breathing slowly. And that also becomes an anchor, a trigger, so that, someone really annoys me at work and I get quite stressed, and, it's even I get stressed, and you can see me slow down my breathing or hold my breath, and I go to my happy place, and you can have that happy place. So again, how long will it take to work? And this time it does, like same effect as antidepressant medication, takes 2 to 4 weeks to start to kick in. We don't know why. The chemicals should change immediately when you take the drugs, but it takes 2 to 4 weeks. When you do meditation, it's the same. It takes 2 to 4 weeks. So I presume that the same day you're changing the chemicals in your brain already. You're making these changes, you're changing your brain forever. And there's on that same channel called Animate Educate, there's a video on that it's called the neuroscience of meditation, I think, or meditation, mindfulness neuroscience explained, I think it's called. And it's again another animated video, and it talks about how your brain changes as a result of being meditating, and the longer you spend meditating, the better you get at it. So the more you do, the better you get. The more you do, the happier you are. And there's a wonderful book about this called Altered Traits by Daniel Goleman, the same chap who wrote Emotional Intelligence, which you all, and in fact, he made the term popular, and that's probably why you all have heard of the term emotional intelligence. So my time's almost up. And in summary, by bringing back to the three things to help you feel better and be happier today, and now to help you get away from the things that are drawing you back and to move you forwards. So the first is writing, expressive writing. Write about the problems in your past so you reshape your present and make a better future for yourself. Write for 15 minutes every day for 4 consecutive days. And the change will begin. And keep on working at it, yeah? And it'll keep on working over and over again for years and years. You just have to do it once. Just do it once and see how that works. Number 2, change your internal self-talk. Change the words in your head. Say good things to yourself. Catch yourself from saying those bad things. Change them to good things. Use the word but properly. You aren't happy, but happiness will come to you. For happiness, as we know, is within all of us. And the last one is meditation. Teach your mind to be more present by exercising it and teaching it not to be the monkey brain, to be able to think about one thing at a time, to stop the chatter in your brain. Once or even twice a day, spend at least 15 minutes sitting quietly, bringing your attention back to your breath. And I promise you, you'll get more time, more than 15 minutes back. If you don't have a good day, hey, at least it's 15 minutes you've had to yourself. So remember, all these things take time to work. So patience. I would say that changing your self-talk and catching the voice in your head that tells you you're no good is the hardest. But change it. Say, but it will be good. It will be better. I will be better. And you will be. So thank you very much. And I wish you all the best. I don't think we've got time for a huge lot of questions. So we'll move on to our next wonderful speaker.
Toh, thank you so much. and also for forbearing with our little few technical problems this morning. What I will do, I think we can do, if you can pop over the link to the YouTube channel, we will put it on the links in the Facebook so people can go there and see it for themselves. Would that be okay? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Toh, so much for joining us today. Yeah, we are going to move on. Jane Bryan just says to you, I don't know if you can see it, very interesting and refreshing. It was incredibly refreshing because it's so simple. And like most things, it comes back, the power is within yourself, and take action.
Absolutely.
That's
Great.
it.
I'll let you move on.
Okay. Bye, Toh.